Hey, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to start the chapter on the heart and we are going to do some vocab. Before we jump into it, I want to talk about a little evolution thing. All right. Now, we just got done talking about the respiratory system and how your blood carries oxygen from your lungs all around your body, right? Well, they say we evolved from fish. Yeah, I know you're saying, I thought I evolved from apes. Well, the apes, you go back far enough, evolved from fish, right? So those fish didn't have lungs. They had gills. So their heart is designed to pump blood. That's right, that's what the heart does. It moves blood around their body, past their gills to collect oxygen from the water, and then keep pumping in a circle around the body to keep collecting oxygen as they go. Through evolution, we developed lungs so that we can walk around on land. Instead of our ancestors completely rerouting their entire circulatory system to make up for that, they just added more pieces. So our heart got a new side. That's right, guys. We have two sides to our heart. We have one side that is going to be handling pumping around the body, but we have another side now that's going to be handling pumping around from the lungs. Right? Actually, they're going to be working together. So we're going to be coming in from your body with no oxygen, and then it's going to get pumped to the lungs, and then back with oxygen to be pumped from this side out around the body again. All right, so both sides are going to be working together. That's what you're seeing here. Two sides around the body and then back to the heart, to the lungs to get oxygen, back to the heart, then around the body to use the oxygen, and then to the lungs to get more oxygen, around the body to use oxygen. So we got two sides of the heart where the fish only have one side. That's two chambers, one chamber to suck blood in and another chamber to push blood out. We have two sides, so we have four chambers. One side to suck blood in and another side to push it to the lungs. One side, another side to suck blood in and another side to push it around the body. So let's go into the vocabulary about all of this heart stuff. We have 13 words to go over dealing with the heart. And the first one is pericardium. The pericardium, if you remember, every part of your body has an epithelial covering. Remember the epithelial system? You know, all the membranes like your skin. Well, every organ in your body has its own epithelial covering. And this one around your heart, this is a real heart with a real epithelial covering. This covering is called the pericardium. It's going to protect the heart, but it's also going to be filled with a little bit of fluid. That way, when the heart is beating, it's well lubricated. It's not rubbing against anything inside your body and wearing down. So that's a good thing. Your second word is myocardium. If you remember from the muscle chapter, myo has to do with muscles. And cardium means cardiovascular, talking about your heart. So pericardium, cardium has to do with the heart. Myocardium is the muscle of the heart. So the actual meat, the muscle tissue itself. So again, real heart, but here's a cartoony one cut, and you can see the chambers. And we got some valves we'll talk about. And all of this is the meat of the heart, the myocardium, the actual muscle that contracts, which causes the heart to beat. And as I said, these are chambers. Your heart is empty. Well, it's full of blood, but it is hollow. It has these spaces. Those spaces are known as atria and ventricles. Atria is plural, atrium is singular. So we have the atrium, the chamber of the heart that receives blood from the veins. And there are two of them. Looking at this heart, we have a right atrium where the blood comes in through here. This is not the opening. This is just a flap so we can see in the model, right? This is actually closed in real life. The entrance is up here. So it comes in, blood comes in and fills up this chamber. This is your right atrium. And then down here is going to be your next word, ventricle. All the blood comes from the atrium into the ventricle. And then this is the actual beating part. This is what's going to pump the blood. This collects the blood, this moves the blood. This will squeeze, pushing the blood out, in this case, to the lungs. Then we have, from the lungs coming back in, these entrances here on the side, a left atrium to collect. And then it's going to come down into the left ventricle, which will squeeze, pushing the blood out to the rest of the body. So again, atrium is the chamber that collects the blood. There's two of them here. And the ventricle are the chambers that will pump the blood into the arteries. This one pumps into this artery. This ventricle pumps into this artery. In between these chambers are doorways we call valves. Just like a plumbing valve. If you know anything about plumbing, a valve is something that prevents water from flowing. So when you turn the knob on your sink, that's a valve. You open the valve up and the water flows. You turn it the other way to close the valve and the water stops. We have those in your heart, except this valve is always open in one direction. You see right here, as the blood goes this way, the valve is pushed open. If the blood tried going the wrong way, the valve will be pushed closed, and the blood cannot go the wrong way. You have another valve here. It'll be pushed open in the correct direction, but if the blood tried going the wrong way, the valve will be pushed closed. So the blood can only go in one direction. And we need to know those directions. 6 and 7, artery and vein. These are blood vessels. Blood vessel, blood vessel. Arteries are going to be blood vessels that transport blood away from the heart. As your heart pumps the blood, it's pushing it away. So this is an artery because the blood's going away from the heart. This is an artery because the blood's going away from the heart. A vein is a blood vessel that transports blood to the heart. This is a vein because the blood is going to the heart. This is a vein because the blood's going to the heart. Right here, these are veins going to the heart. And off the side over here are veins. They're going behind and entering over here. So these are veins going into the heart. Veins are into the heart. Arteries are away from the heart. More realistic picture. Vein into the heart, and then artery away from the heart. Vein into the heart, then artery away from the heart. Those veins and arteries will eventually meet up with each other outside the heart, some other place in your body, as they branch off and get smaller and smaller and smaller. And the smallest ones, the tiniest blood vessels, are known as capillaries, where they branch off the artery and kind of blend into the vein. This is where gas exchange happens. So there will be oxygen from the lungs in the artery, and then here, this net would be surrounding a muscle. And the oxygen would leave this capillary, go into the muscle so you can use it. And then carbon dioxide would leave the muscle, go into your blood, and continue in the vein to go back to your heart, to be pumped to the lungs. So this is where exchange happens, from the blood to the muscles, or from the blood to your brain, or from the blood to some organ, happening here in the capillaries. The smaller the blood vessel, the easier it is for that to happen. All of that, guys, is known as the cardiac cycle, a series of myocardial contractions and relaxations. That's a very fancy way of saying heartbeat. It is a series of heartbeats. Myo, muscle, cardio, heart. Series of heart muscle contractions and relaxations. Heartbeats. That constitutes a complete heartbeat, right? So all the muscle movements. And they can be broken into two categories, systole and diastole. The systole is the phase of the cardiac cycle where the heart chamber contracts. So this is the actual pump. And diastole is when the heart relaxes. Squeezable heart. Systole, diastole, systole, diastole, systole, diastole. Squeeze, relax, contract, relax, systole, diastole. And the last two words, pulmonary circuit and systemic circuit. Going back to my picture here, I know it's very artistically drawn, very beautiful, right? Two passageways for the human, one for the fish, but two for the human. One around the body and one from the heart to the lungs. We call those circuits. Just like in car racing, those races are known as circuits. They're going around in a loop, right? Same thing here, the blood's going around in a loop. These are circuits. Just like electricity. In electricity, the wires go around in a loop from the battery around back to the battery. Same thing here. The pulmonary circuit is a system of blood vessels that carry blood to and from the lungs. Pulmonary has to do with lungs. Anytime you see the word pulmonary, we are talking about your lungs. So the pulmonary circuit is bringing blood to and from the lungs. Here you see all the capillaries around the lungs, picking up oxygen and dropping off carbon dioxide. We have the pulmonary artery going to the lungs, the pulmonary vein coming back from the lungs. Pulmonary is all about lungs. The systemic circuit is a series of blood vessels that conducts blood between the heart and the rest of the body, except for the lungs. So systemic because all the blood is going to your body systems, to all of your muscles, to all of your organs, to your brain, to your nerves, to your bones, everywhere. All right, so all of your body systems are getting blood from the systemic circuit. And that is the vocabulary for the cardiovascular system, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you are studying this stuff. There will be a vocab quiz, and I will see you next time.